We were pretty famous back in high school.
Trust us. Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast?
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous.
Enough fucking around. Let's get this party started.
I plan to be here for now, but I also plan to come. What? What? Can I talk?
You kept pausing, so it sounded like you were done.
No. Wow, you need to let someone pause for more than a half of a second to assume they're done talking.
Definitely longer than that.
Look, I'm going to be here now, but I plan to return in about 3 days, and that's when the real party will begin.
Okay.
Isn't that what Easter has some? Isn't that something to do with Easter?
Yeah, something like that. Like we like a long time ago, these dudes like persecuted this bunny, and then
because the bunny was, the bunny had some crazy ideas and was trying to spread those ideas around about how we should be.
Well, it was a really weird bunny because this bunny laid eggs, even though it's a mammal.
Yeah, it was freaking people out. He was laying painted eggs.
Yeah.
They appeared to
didn't like it.
They did not. No, they didn't like it one bit.
Yeah.
So they put a stop to it.
Yeah. So they nailed him to a board and left him out in the sun for a few days.
They're like, we're going to teach you a lesson. You'll learn this lesson, then you'll change your ways once we let you down from this board.
And
we hope you go.
Once it's meat
we hope
cured,
you don't get too hot up there.
Yeah,
once it's meat cured.
Yep. Once it's meat cured, they pulled him down and ate his body and his blood. This might be out of order. out of order time wise, not out of order as in this is out of line.
I didn't think you meant that.
Okay.
Like in a court of law.
This might be out of order here for me to say this, but they ate the rabbit. But then it like a couple days later, it showed up again as if nothing had happened. It might have been a different rabbit, to be honest.
Yeah, because they're like, don't freak out. Hey guys, don't freak out. I'm back. And I'm here to say stuff before I leave again forever. But I might come back later. I'm a very... flaky bunny like that.
Yeah, he had to like push some boulder out of the way or something. I don't know. It's kind of confusing. I might be getting the story slightly wrong.
As the bunny was up there on the board, getting taught a lesson, getting a tan. I think he laid several eggs, and those eggs were quite valuable. It turns out,
and really
they were
hard to find.
The final eggs. The final eggs of Bunny Jesus.
Yeah. Whoa, Bunny Jesus. What are you talking about?
The Easter Bunny.
Let's not be blasphemous here. And I was not talking about Jesus at all. I was talking about the Easter Bunny.
I thought the Easter Bunny's name was Jesus. And I'm not talking about,
It's pronounced Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah. You uncultured swine.
I didn't read the Bible.
I've never read the Bible.
I'm pretty sure they have the phonetic spelling after every time he's mentioned, so that we all know how to say it. But I've never read it, so I didn't know how to say it. So Jesus, the Easter Bunny, is who we're talking about, or is the Easter Bunny a different bunny?
I think it depends on what part of the world you're in. Everybody has a different Easter Bunny. I
see, but a lot of them kind of stem from the same ideas.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, there's just there's a rift out there about who's the true Easter Bunny. And, we may or may not ever agree on or settle on a singular bunny. But, that keeps the world interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm for it, I guess. I mean, what would happen if the world just settled that? Like, yep, all right, this is it. We all are in agreement.
There is no God.
There'll be no more fighting or talking about that particular issue.
we'd find something else to fight about.
Well, of course we would, but I wonder, do you think that everyone would agree? Or do you think that, there'd be a group that rules on it, and then there would be those that are not members of said group that may disagree with the ruling, and then may also just go forth with trying to fight for what they think is the true Easter Bunny?
Which is what is already, that's current events.
No, I know, but this way you would at least have an attempt to have it be just settled and agreed upon. This is it, everyone.
I think the only way we could do that is if we started completely over. Everybody who's currently alive died, and we start with a whole new, fresh set of people, and then
I don't like this.
They can create whatever new singular religion that the whole population of the world believes in.
We would probably have to destroy any texts. Basically anything that references the old ones, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, the new people could be influenced by the old stories.
Yeah. We'll destroy all religious texts and only leave science books around. And then we can all be Scientologists. That's what that is, right? That's what Scientology is everybody believes in the science god, the god of science.
That came to us from another planet?
Yeah, Professor Wingless.
Professor Wingless, the CEO. Well, he was the CEO.
Well,
I don't know.
He don't become the CEO, so who makes him the CEO? He made himself the CEO because technically he's the god of science.
Okay, so now he's okay. I wasn't aware that he was the god of science. I always knew him as the CEO of science.
It's a theory.
Yeah. So, in Scientology, we know that all theories are tested. Well, wait, how does it start? Does it start off as a hypothesis? What?
You said in Scientology. I said just in science.
Yeah, I know, but we're trying to connect this somehow. We're trying to pretend as though we're thinking that Scientology is also this.
Yeah,
I was trying to bring that back into it a little bit, but then you corrected me against something you introduced earlier in the conversation. So, yeah, just like a true Scientologist.
I have no idea if that's true. I got nothing.
Good. Happy Easter, listeners / watchers. On the day of this recording, it is Easter Sunday. And at the day of the audio posting, it will not be anymore.
Yep. And by the time the video's
out, the Jesus Bunny. What? No, come on, dude. You try to do this. By the time the audio posts, the Jesus Bunny will almost be ready to make a comeback.
Yeah. What?
I don't know. Did you do anything fun for Easter?
I've just been chilling at Easter home, related. Had some breakfast and had some dinner.
You had dinner already?
Had dinner 3 hours ago.
Dinner at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to flip it back to because the meal you had in the middle of the day used to be referred to as dinner? Are you trying to bring that back?
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it was.
No, we just had an early Easter dinner, and then, now I'm still working on digesting that situation.
It's tough work.
And then
it's hard work.
If I get hungry later, I'll, have some leftovers or a snack.
Yeah, see, people used to work, and then this is mainly when people were mostly farming and the like.
Right.
But you would get up early, and you would have something light before you went out to start working for the day. And then you would kind of break off the middle of your day with a huge meal.
Yep.
And that was what dinner was. And then you would have like a light before bed sort of thing, which was called like supper.
Mm-hmm.
And that was more like a snack, like a bedtime snack. It wasn't a full meal. But then once people started going off and working in the big city,
right,
they couldn't come home to have their large meal. So the midday meal became a lighter meal, and then the larger meal of the day was then converted to the meal you have before bed.
Mm.
And they've all kind of had each other's names before, because obviously breakfast is the combination of the word break and fast.
Yep.
So it's the first thing you would eat, after sleeping. And so for some people, that used to be the midday meal in the middle of the workday. That midday meal was called breakfast, but it was also at some point called dinner, and also lunch. It's been
when did
crazy.
it become lunch?
At some time, after all that, I don't know. I don't know the exact timeline of it all, or if it's like I doubt it was universally changed throughout the country or world all at the same time. So you probably could have people over here calling it lunch and people over here calling it dinner, people over here calling it breakfast. Those who can't see, I gestured to sort of 3 different areas.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But only for people who can't see.
Right.
If you're just listening to this but you can see, that wasn't for you.
Yeah, I don't want you to take offense to what I did.
Yeah. That part of the audio was only for the blind.
Right. And the visual element was only for the deaf. Just that part.
Yes.
Because you could probably enact some sort of AI closed captioning on this stuff. I don't know. To read it.
Maybe.
I don't know for sure.
Think it would be awful reading podcasts.
I mean, it'd be the same. I mean, if you're someone who chooses to, I know that would be messy, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Especially just with the sentence I just was able to get out of my mouth. Not clear and concise. That's why I don't know. With this whole transcript thing coming out,
right,
where you can read a transcript of a podcast, I don't know what major use that might have. Like, what mainstream type of a use would it have? I don't know.
And maybe using it for like closed captioning situations, but I think a lot of places can do that now anyway, right?
I think so. Yeah, and I mean the only other thing is if it's just to be used as a document to incriminate someone who may have said something that they don't want.
True. Yeah.
I mean, people have been canceled for old tweets in the past. I mean, maybe this would be another way to cancel someone.
Go ahead and try to cancel me. That'd be the first moment I'm actually slightly famous.
I've been trying to cancel you.
Yeah. Like all of a sudden I'm well known because I got canceled for something I said. I'd be like, hey, all right, I'm known. I'm suddenly known. I got famous for being canceled.
Now fetch me that burger. I don't know. It's something. Someone. You got nothing to lose. You can just tell someone to fetch. You've been canceled. No. Nothing to lose. Just tell someone to fetch you a burger. What worse? What?
That's the first thing you'll do when you get canceled. Is tell somebody to fetch you a burger.
Just boss someone around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you idiot, fetch me a burger or I'll knife you. That's what I'll do.
Okay, that's different. There's
more. There's more to it. The more of it's being revealed. But yeah, the spirit is the same. I just want a burger and I want someone else to bring it to me.
Under threat of being stabbed.
Threat, yeah. Threat is one thing. Promise, I don't know. It depends on how you look at it.
Well,
what if you like being stabbed? What if I know that about you? And so that's what I use to motivate you to get me a burger. Hey, this person loves being stabbed. They've told me this in confidence. So now I'm going to promise a future stabbing post burger retrieval.
Oh, if they get you a burger or if they don't get you a burger?
No, if they get me one because they like being stabbed.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna offer to stab someone that doesn't enjoy it. Nor would I offer it as a reward or a form of payment for doing a chore for me, like fetching a burger, a hamburger. Let's be clear.
Well, of course, as opposed to
like a bison burger or a turkey burger.
Okay.
A chicken sandwich.
Well, that's just a chicken sandwich. It's not a burger.
I know, but it's a meat patty in between a bun.
Right.
With some other fixins. You could basically call it a burger. For some reason, they don't want to call it a chicken burger. They just want to call it a chicken sandwich. I don't know. I'll argue it's the same thing, essentially.
Because a burger is typically it's ground meat formed into a patty. A chicken sandwich is not ground meat.
Sandwich is not, but a turkey burger is.
A turkey burger is typically ground meat in the form of a patty.
But you can have a chicken burger. There is such a thing as ground up chicken formed into a patty.
Yes.
But restaurants don't seem to serve that. They want to go with the fully intact fillet of chicken with breading on it.
Do you call it a fillet with chicken? I was thinking
you can.
Fish.
Yeah, but there's chicken you can get breast fillets, chicken breast fillets in the store. And I don't know what else you would call it on a sandwich.
I just call it chicken breast.
Huh?
I've never used the word fillet when referring to chicken. And let's be clear though too. That just makes me think of the fact that the fillet of fish at McDonald's is a very bad interpretation of what that sandwich actually is. Because that is not a fillet.
That's more like a chicken burger, right?
That is a fish patty. It's not a fillet.
So they are misleading.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not expecting them to be super honest about what they're serving us, right?
At McDonald's?
Yeah, we were never like. Maybe when McDonald's was first introduced to the world,
possibly.
I'd be curious to know. I mean, obviously there are people that are still alive that were around when McDonald's. Are you agreeing to the truncated form of what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I may have
jumped the gun.
Yeah, you might have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let me finish. I'm pretty sure that there are people that are still alive that fought in that were in that famous 300 battle.
That's not true.
Between the Persians and the
definitely not
Spartans.
Definitely.
Well, some of the Persians. None of the Spartans survived. We know that.
No,
but plenty of the Persians alive. Are still around. I mean,
descendants maybe.
And those descendants probably tasted some of the original McDonald's food.
No.
I wonder what they would have to say about the quality of food then compared to what is served at McDonald's now.
Different.
It's different.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to weigh in, you think, on if they think it's better now or worse now? They'll just say different?
Might.
What if they don't? What do we do then?
We just drop it.
That's all. Okay, so you're really not interested in finding out the truth.
No, I honestly just don't give a shit.
Why not?
It doesn't.
You like McDonald's the way it is. You like McDonald's so much now. You don't want to find out that it used to be better. You would be so upset.
McDonald's it's fine. I'm not like McDonald's doesn't thrill me.
It doesn't claim to.
I suppose.
It doesn't say, hey, we've got some thrilling new offerings for you. Why don't you come on down to McDonald's and feel the thrill? They do
claim that I'm loving it.
They do.
But I don't think I'm loving it.
That's not claiming that. You can love things without being thrilled. You don't think you're loving it, though?
No. McDonald's is one of those things that it's like, you get it because it's the easy option.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm hungry. I have nothing here to eat, or I'm on the road or something. You're like, oh, there's a McDonald's. It's safe. I know what I like from there. You know, to use the word like loosely. Like, I know what I can tolerate from there.
I know what I'll eat.
Yeah, I know what I won't from there.
I know what I won't refuse to eat from there.
Yeah, I know what my body won't immediately reject from there. And, you know, I'll eat it and my body will be able to sustain itself off of it. I'm not going to feel good about it, but I'll make it another 24 hours in life.
So you've gone to McDonald's and you've eaten something that your body has immediately rejected?
No. I was saying I know what my body won't immediately sorry. I have never eaten anything from there that my body has immediately rejected. Therefore, anything I have gotten from there before, I could get again because it would not be immediately rejected by my body.
That's fair.
I feel like as I'm getting older, though, my body is slowly trying to get me to stop going to it. Because I never feel good afterwards.
If only your body made the decisions.
Yeah,
but it's your dumb brain.
It's my stupid brain or my stupid penis.
Yeah,
those are the two things that lead me in the directions.
Don't sell your penis short.
I wouldn't know. I would sell the whole thing.
So you would. Oh, okay. So you would sell it when it's at its longest.
Well, I mean, whether it's at its longest or it's not at its longest, I would just sell it at its fullest. I would sell the whole thing, whether it was
right. But I said don't sell it short, which means don't sell it when it's in its shortest stage or state. You want to, like, ballpark frank it, and because it plumps.
When I cook it?
When you cook them. Well, no, when you cook the ballpark franks, those plump. I'm just saying you'll plump it up, then you'll sell it off. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
smart.
That's when it looks its best.
That's smart.
Nobody wants a sad, floppy, flaccid penis. Who wants that?
Is it
name one person?
What if your penis were happy when it is floppy? Would they want it then? Or is it all three things, or both things that they don't want? Like if it's sad and floppy, no, I don't want it. It's happy and floppy. Yeah, I'll take that.
Happy and floppy at least can come off as cute, which is endearing.
Okay. What if it's sad and like stiff, like rock hard? Are someone still interested?
More so.
Okay, more so than happy and floppy, you think? Because really, I mean, when it's stiff, you can get more use out of it. No matter how it feels, like how emotional it feels.
Yeah, there's more. No matter what, a hard penis is more useful. You can do so much more with it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Listeners, write in. What's your opinion on how useful
the
varying stages of the penis are?
Sad and stiff or happy and floppy?
I mean, we all want happy and stiff, right?
Stiff is Happy and stiff is aces. That's the
one
top notch. That's
the one thing the world can agree on.
Yeah, that's S tier.
Oh yeah, S tier. Mm-hmm. What are the other tiers? What's like sad and stiff tier?
Sad and stiff would be that'd be A tier then.
I don't understand.
I guess just system. Stiff would be A tier, and then B tier would be sad and stiff. Happy and floppy would be C tier.
How do you get all the way to S though? Like I'm wondering. I'm trying to figure out this.
S is the top, so it's like.
Yeah, but do you go all the way from A to S? Every letter in between?
No, S is above A when you're doing tier list.
But how? But why? I'm just wondering why.
Because S is like superb, like it's the top notch thing. I don't know. I didn't invent tier lists. That's how tier lists work online. Is S tier is the top. It's the best thing. So that's what I'm basing it on.
Look. That's how those submit a picture of your penis online tiers work, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you go by.
From Tiermaker, we've done them.
Yeah, but that's one example. I mean, you've used other tier making websites where they ask you to send in a photo, and you do, and then they rank it, and then you're like, okay, well, I guess mine's whatever tier. I guess I have to go by the system they lay out.
Yeah, it's how many times do I get kicked in the crotch before I produce a tier? Is the tier list that I do. So throughout the day, after I've had time to rest, it takes less kicks over time. By the end of the day, one kick will produce a tier.
But in the morning, it'll take more because you're well rested.
How are you spelling morning? With a U?
The right way.
Depends on how many times I've been kicked is which way I spell morning that next day.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're okay. Now the other thing is influencing the other thing. It's backwards now.
Yeah. It's my morning.
When you're mourning in the morning, that suggests that you were recently kicked a few times maybe, and now you're mourning because of that. But if you were kicked in the evening at the end of the long day,
Mm-hmm.
you would be mourning, but it would take less kicks for you to be mourning, and then you'll feel better by the morning. The morning will make you better.
No.
Morning doesn't help you heal?
I can't imagine being kicked in the balls all one day, like one whole day. Sorry, or the penis, if that's what we're specifically talking about.
I think
for
we're
an
still
entire day. I don't think you'll feel good the next day.
No one said that.
You'll probably have to go to the hospital.
No one. Who said you were being kicked all day? I
did earlier in the conversation. I was talking about how if I was getting kicked, I was talking about a tier list of how quickly I would produce a tear by being kicked in the balls. And I said throughout the day, it would take less kicks. In between times of rest, like I would do it, and then it was 7 kicks, and then he cried, and then I'd wait a little while, and then it'd be like, it was 5 kicks. By the end of the night, 1 kick does it, or even just the thought of being kicked would produce a tear, so it would take 0 kicks.
I see. I was not understanding what was happening here. I thought that you were basically saying in the early morning, I've been well rested. It's going to take a few kicks before I shed a tear. But if someone were to wait until the evening after my long work day's over and I'm kind of tired, that's what I thought was going on. But no, you're talking about, you're basically saying the more times you get kicked, the less times it takes for you to get kicked to shed a tear.
I'm talking about a dick kicking marathon.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, is it balls or dick that's being kicked? Because you've changed it a few times.
Let's be honest. It's both. You can't have one without the other.
Right.
It's like love and marriage.
Yeah, they go together like a horse and carriage.
Yeah.
This I tell you, brother.
Mm-hmm. Can't have one without the other. We made it there.
Yeah, we're there.
Yeah.
And then there's a fountain. Yeah. The water stops shooting out of the fountain.
We're talking specifically about Married with Children, or just the song?
Well, I thought that song is what is used to operate the fountains of the world.
No,
I thought they were all set on some sort of a timer. Like that song starts to play, then when it gets to the end, the fountain's shut off for the night.
No, I've been to that fountain many times, and it's just running.
Wait, where's that fountain? Chicago?
Yeah, it's the Buckingham Fountain.
Let's go.
I ride past it all the fucking time when I'm biking.
Also, I don't know if you recall.
We can go there if you want. I don't know if it'll be running when you guys are in town.
By then, no, it's in a couple weeks. But I don't know if you recall, but on I believe it was episode 171.
Okay.
You said that next time I come to Chicago, we'll check out an aquarium.
I said we could. Yeah, we could go to an aquarium.
Yeah. But now our other two guests would have to also. I mean, they could do their own thing if they don't want to go to an aquarium.
Yeah, we could go to the Shed Aquarium
and then check out the fountain from the show.
I mean, depending on how we want to go to the aquarium, we'll drive. We probably, if we're driving there.
Can I buy fish from the aquarium and then put them in the fountain and make a wish?
No. But yeah, we would drive past the fountain to go to the aquarium.
So we might want to stop at the fountain first? If it's running. I guess if it's not running, what's the point? I guess overall, what's the point?
Of going to a fountain? Going there. I don't know.
Nah, there's no point.
It's all right. I've been there a bunch of times. It's just a fountain.
Now, what do you think is a more famous fountain? That one? Mm-hmm. I think we already know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyway. Or the one from the Friends opening theme?
Well, the one from the Friends opening theme was on a set.
Oh, you can't go visit that fountain.
Well, the fountain, I might be getting this wrong, but the fountain it's representing, if it wasn't filmed at the actual fountain, is a real fountain. But I believe they filmed that on a movie set.
But it's a fountain that someone could visit. Not the one that they were actually splashing around at, but the fountain that was meant to represent could be visited by tourists and whatnot.
So, but I don't know where it exists.
Okay, so then what's more famous, the fountain from the opening of Married with Children or the fountain that was being represented in the opening of Friends?
I mean,
we have to say the one from Friends, right?
Probably.
Yeah. I don't think the cast of Married with Children was making, a couple million per episode by the end.
Yeah.
I don't think Christina Applegate is that wealthy.
I don't think any of them are making a couple million for anything right now.
Or I know some of their other names, but they're not coming to me right now.
Ed O'Neill.
I knew it was Ed something.
And then Katie Seagal.
Yes.
And then,
the other guy.
Yeah.
And then the neighbors.
I was going to say Ted Bundy, but that's a very different person.
Oh, no. He didn't even make a guest spot.
No.
Would that be messed up if they brought him on as a cameo at some point?
Yeah.
Well, Matt, we're here to talk about Easter, as we know.
Are we? I mean, we kind of. Yeah.
And so you were kind enough to visit Quora.com and
graced you with my presence.
Oh, by the way, welcome to High School Famous, everyone.
Sure.
Turn your textbooks, students, to page 176.
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about the history of Easter.
I mean, we briefly talked about the incorrect history of Easter earlier. So
I'm just going off of what's in the book.
I didn't specifically go to Quora.com, grace it with my presence, and then search for this thing. I just Googled something, and it brought me. It didn't bring me here. It gave me a link to this site that I then clicked on.
Look, I don't know that.
Just to, be specific.
In this case, I don't know that the journey is as important as the destination.
I just like to be clear.
Okay. Well, there we go. There we have it, everyone. Matt, he ended up on Quora.com, but it was via a Google search.
Yeah, look, I don't know how I got to this website. Look, hey, I was looking up very specific. I was trying to look up Bible verses, and it brought me to this website. I am sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I'm using the school's computer.
I'm surprised the browser didn't block it.
Yeah. You're on the church's computer. And now that's going to be in the church's computer's history, and you are not going to be welcomed back, sir.
I was just trying to look up eggs. I don't know why it brought me to this porn site.
You're trying to look up what? How does that bring you there?
Female eggs. So we're on Quora.com. And,
good. As I already explained.
Yep. I was just trying to underail.
Re-rail. It's called re-railing.
Yeah, sorry. I don't think that's what they do with trains.
You re-rail it.
I don't think they re-rail
it back on the rails.
And then just
what do they do?
Smack it on its butt until I get back to work.
Yeah, they say yeah.
Yeah.
You smack it on the rear end, and then the train goes off to
the train engine rears back and neighs and moves along.
Then drives right off to Quora.com.
Yeah, this is do you have a funny Easter story? Is the question. That was put up on Quora.com, and some people then wrote their stories and put them here.
It was a call and response type of a thing. It was a call to action, and people came through. People came in clutch, as they say.
I don't like they at all. So there's some stories on here. We have not vetted these stories at all. So,
but that's the fun of it.
We're just gonna read them. We're just gonna read them and see what happens.
We're gonna read them cold.
We'll do a few, and then we'll end this episode as we do.
That's the consistency you can come to expect and be comforted by here at High School Famous. We will start saying things, and we'll say a little bit of things, and then we'll be done, and then it'll be over until the next time we say things.
I think that's the
one thing that sets us apart from other podcasts.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they're like, "Oh, what's your podcast about?" I'm like, you know what? We start talking, and then eventually we stop talking, and that's kind of that's our thing. That's us, And we don't bore.
We don't bore you with like ads or like impressive guests.
Yeah, we don't do
interesting
things to
people.
We're not here. We're not here, throwing stuff at you so that we can make money off of it.
There's plenty of that elsewhere.
Yeah. If you want quantity,
more of the
not
same,
quality.
If you want more of the same, just go out and check out any of the other billions of podcasts out there that are like doing well and have sponsors and make money.
Yeah.
But that's not this podcast. We're not about that.
Listened to,
Yeah, people like stream it like every time an episode comes out, like consistently.
Mm-hmm.
That's for the birds.
So this first story,
trust me, there are analytics about which podcasts are preferred by birds.
Yeah.
And it's every podcast with ads and celebrity guests. So we're not here to something.
Yeah,
we're not here to appease the birds. We're not for the birds. We're for the egg-laying mammals known as bunnies.
Yeah.
And duckbill platypuses, right? Are they mammals technically? Do they lay eggs? What are they?
They are an abomination. They
could be.
I think they're like. They're also marsupials. I think, aren't they? Don't they also have a pouch? I don't fucking know. It's funny that they are just a hodgepodge of shit.
It's a mishmash.
Yeah, they are the Frankenstein's monster of animals.
Aside from the being surgically constructed by a crazy scientist, they are like an amalgamation of a bunch of different kinds of animals. They could be like a fairly advanced, evolved form of creature that the rest of us just haven't lucky enough to have reached yet.
Yeah,
I mean, how many days? That's why people invented pullover hoodies with those front pockets. It's to mimic a pouch of the marsupial.
Yeah, to keep your baby in.
Exactly. And also that's why we invented airplanes, so we could fly around like the birds, which we are not for. We're not placated. We're not trying to appease the birds, as we said. But that's just something humanity has like, we're not like that. We're not able to do what that creature can do. Let's make it so.
We just haven't been able to figure out how to make the wings flap yet.
No, I mean, there were some very early prototypes of winged vehicles that did have flapping wings, but none of them were able to take flight and keep in the air. I mean, some people just straight up made like giant wooden wings that with straps on them, and their arms were just strapped to these wings, and they tried to flap their arms. I don't know who thought that was going to work, but it didn't.
Yeah, we don't have hollow bones.
No, but we're working on it. So I go to a monthly bone hollowing procedure.
So this first story is it's a funny Easter story. Let's do this.
Carry on.
All right. In 2003, I moved to France to study in Paris for Ivy Sorbonne. It's not important. I shouldn't read things. I suddenly found myself in a strange place, which was unlike anything I grew accustomed to in my previous life. In April, I understood the depth of horror where I had fallen. In this barbaric country of France, nobody was going to dye eggs for Easter, and I could not imagine surviving Easter without colored eggs. I had to dye them myself for the first time in my life. Is this like an A24 horror movie? This is amazing.
I know. I'm about to, go into shock and pee myself out of fear.
Right. With my usual perspicacity. Is that the word?
Perspicacity? Perspicacity.
Okay. And deduction.
What it means I don't know.
Yeah. I managed to find egg dyes. Greeks are our Orthodox brethren, I thought. They would help me. I found a Greek restaurant and asked a waiter to give me the address of a Greek shop. And yes, they did have beautiful egg dyes, but I was still unhappy. The fact is, I don't know.
This is a weird story so far.
The fact is, the very best Easter egg tinge, reddish brown, can only be achieved if you boil them with the red onion peel. Do not eat onions at all, but I needed this peel. What is this person's deal?
Why can't they just go on Easter without dyeing eggs?
Yeah, that's uncalled for. Get a marker, dude. In my first year in France, I found a supermarket where they had a large basin with red onions, and I collected lots of peel. Just singular. In my second year, I started approaching traders in the vegetable market. I was lucky enough to meet a Lebanese Christian. I almost didn't say Lebanese. Who understood my trouble and helped me. Finally, in my third year, I found the best way to collect the dye and was longing for. I would approach traders in the large fair on the Place de la Bastille and ask them not to throw away their red onion peel. It amused them a lot. After a week, they would give me an enormous sack, saying a word in French or a sentence in French that I will only say in English. Mister, we have worked the whole week for you.
Let me try. Should I try it?
Sure.
Monsieur, on a travaillé toute la semaine pour vous.
There you go. Usually it resulted in something like this. And it's an image of a bunch of eggs on newspaper that have been dyed various colors.
If you would like...
Yeah, you might see it in the video version of this podcast.
Yes, okay.
And then came the best part of it. It was giving them as gifts. The French were happy as children to receive a dyed egg. They would say, "Is it real? Can it be eaten? Are they already boiled?" However, too often they did not eat them. Next year, when I gave them a new egg, they would proudly point at the shelf where the previous egg continued to stand. I already have one. They could not understand how such a beautiful egg can be broken and eaten. And for me, the idea of preserving a boiled egg for a year was simply nauseating. I invented a formula, more French, which means...
C'est pour manger. C'est pas pour garder.
It is to be eaten, not to be preserved, is what that means. But the only way to ensure that the egg would be eaten was to make a person eat it in my presence. This person is fucking insane. Arabs and Vietnamese and other immigrants appreciated when I gave them eggs and listened to my explanation of Orthodox Russian customs with lots of interest. And fellow Russians would often have tears in their eyes when I gave them an egg. And
after being kicked in the penis.
Yeah, and said, Sean, you want to try this one? It's Russian now.
Ooh, Zongtak Bakpek. No idea. No idea.
Christ has resurrected, they would say. These Russians could be atheists, Jews, or Tartars, but to them it was still a message from the faraway home. So this guy's a fucking psychopath. Because he talked about each year and how he would go about getting the dyes and how he would he would collect onion peels for like a year leading up to Easter.
I mean, look at this guy.
Yeah, he's just a weird bearded dude.
Just in case, for those who were maybe wondering, when Matt read Lebanese, he almost accidentally said Labianese.
No.
I was almost
about to say I was lucky enough to meet a lesbian Christian.
I know. That's what you were really almost said.
Yeah.
I tried to make it funny. Gotcha. Okay. Well, that was quite the story. And,
I do enjoy the fact that he was lucky enough to meet a Lebanese Christian who understood my trouble and helped me. I'm having a hard time finding egg dyes. I get it, dude. I've been looking for egg dyes forever. France does not have egg dyes.
Why do we live here?
God damn. It's so hard to celebrate Easter in France. You can't dye eggs.
Like, can't you just take some paint and a paintbrush and paint the eggshells?
There's a million ways to color eggs.
Yeah, because you boil the eggs.
Yeah.
And then you paint them afterward, yes.
Yeah.
So when it's time to eat the eggs, you're just peeling the shell off.
Yeah, they're already hard-boiled eggs. You're just coloring the hard-boiled eggs. You know what a lot of people use? Food coloring. Guaranteed you can get food coloring in France.
I don't know. This was in 2003.
Dude, go to any pastry shop. They're going to have food coloring for frostings and things that they put on pastries.
And, we all know of
2003.
Yeah, a long time ago I said that.
Oh, my God. It's a 21-year-old story.
There's plenty of, like, delicious French pastries that would have icing on them and cakes. I mean, pétaphore. That's French.
What's a pétaphore?
It's a small cake. It's petite. It's like petite four, and it's I don't know why.
I thought it would be funny to say what's a pétaphore, and then you'd have to.
What Matt almost said. Anyway, French pedophile.
No,
I guess I'm going to read the next story.
Yeah, let's hope this person's not a fucking psychopath. Like the last.
All right,
person.
so this is a story from Caitlin Hale.
Oh, we don't have to say the names. I didn't say the person's name. I don't give a shit.
Well, I did, and Caitlin lists herself as a high school student from 2008 to present. So way to leave it open-ended, Caitlin.
This was posted 4 years ago.
I know, but way to leave it open-ended.
Hold on.
Even so, that's a long time to be in high school.
Yes.
This was posted in 2020, so they've been in high school for 12 years. Caitlin, I think you got to stop posting stories on Quora.com and focus on your studies.
Yeah, maybe.
Because this is the longest run of high school I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard.
Well, once we hear the story, we'll see if it's fitting or not.
I mean, this might be universal across high schools, but I know in our high school, if there was someone that was held back, for example, 1 year, and they were a senior twice, maybe, they would be called a super senior.
Yeah.
That's about as far as I have ever known.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard of a super senior.
No. All right. Well, let's see what Caitlin Hale has to say. Potentially still in high school.
Yeah,
from 2008.
This might not be legible.
I know. Even though it's typed, you mean it might not make sense?
Like, yeah.
Gotcha. Which means, yeah. I remember last Easter.
Coherent. Might not be coherent.
Yeah. There you go. I remember last Easter. It was the very first Easter I spent with my dad and my stepmom and my 11 siblings.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I know. With so many kids in the house, Easter is a huge holiday for our family.
Oh.
We usually have to buy a big case of 60 eggs 2-3 times a month. But since we also dye eggs, we had 2 big cases of those eggs in our refrigerator, one to dye and one to eat.
Well, you can't eat the dyed ones?
Well, no, you're eating the non-dye eggs while you're waiting, because you're not going to buy them on Easter Sunday. Hold on.
Think about this. They have to buy a big case of 60 eggs 2 to 3 times a month. This is just normal. That's normal egg consumption for them.
Yeah, so they're just in general eating a ton of eggs.
They're eating 120 to 180 eggs a month between 13
There's
people.
12 people. 13 people, yeah.
Do the math.
I mean, let's say it's 10 eggs a month.
10 plus
or
eggs
10
a
eggs
month.
Per person. That's not a lot.
Per person. I don't eat that many eggs a month.
Well, if you make yourself 2 eggs for breakfast in a morning and you do that 5 times in 1 month, that's 10 eggs. That's not a lot.
It seems crazy to me.
Well, we have to look. Yeah, we have to zoom out. It's an entire month's worth, and it's for 13 people. And what if you use eggs? What if you use eggs in, say, cake batter or pancakes? Yeah. You're using eggs to make other things.
Start with cake batter. Like they're also making a cake every month. I mean, 13 people. They probably have a birthday every month.
Yeah, if they're lucky.
All right, I'm an asshole. Continue.
Yeah, we know this. Okay. I helped to boil the 60 eggs in a big pot. It took a while since we couldn't put all the eggs in at once. Since we aren't really a fancy family, instead of putting them on a tray or whatever, we just put them back in the case so they would be easier to store in the fridge and ready to die when my siblings got home from school later that day. What about you? You're still in high school. We had lots of different colors of dyes, stickers, holders, and markers to decorate the eggs with. Someone should ship this stuff to France.
Yeah.
They had so much fun. It was a successful Easter egg dyeing party. So far, this is not a funny story. Except when one of my little sisters picked up the case full of dyed eggs to help and put them back in the fridge for later, she dropped them. They all broke and cracked.
That's different.
The most surprising part of it was not the fact that she dropped the eggs that everyone worked hard on dyeing, but that they were all raw eggs and weren't the boiled eggs. We mixed up the 2 cases of eggs in the fridge, one being boiled and one being raw. We had a good laugh, but cleaning up all those eggs from off the floor was a pain. We eventually dyed the boiled eggs, and they came out just as good as the original.
Crisis averted.
Yeah, they went through a lot of eggs that day.
Yeah, but now they're going to have to go and buy another case of 60 eggs so they can eat those later. Because otherwise they're going to go a whole month without eating any eggs.
No. They've got right now all of the boiled, dyed eggs to get through. They got plenty of time. They got plenty of eggs to get through before they need more eggs.
Sean, she said at the beginning that they had to buy extra eggs for this month so they could boil them and dye them. So these are not their normal consumed eggs. They're going to have to buy regular eggs for consuming. You can't fry a hard-boiled egg, Sean.
No, but now they're going to simply just consume all the boiled eggs, and when those are done, the only reason they had to buy extra eggs, because during the month, because Easter, if it's anything like this year, it's on the last day of March.
Right.
It's not always on the last day of March. I know this, but it's toward the end of this month, which means they had to get through a whole month eating other eggs and save the eggs for Easter at the end of the month. Now they have those eggs are boiled and ready to eat, and they're dyed, and they can go through the month of April eating the Easter eggs.
Okay, but using that logic, Sean, then why did they have extra unboiled eggs in the house to accidentally color and drop on the floor?
You're right. They shouldn't have. So are they saying that they bought?
They bought the eggs for April. They did, and they bought the hard-boiled eggs for the end of the month for Easter. And this little bitch ruined all of April's eggs because she was fucking careless and clumsy. You never give the fucking little kid, I don't know how old this kid was that dropped the eggs, but you never give them the job to put the eggs back in the fridge after they've been dyed, stickered, and colored.
It was a learning experience for the little kid, and so I'm sure she won't make that same mistake again. That's part of life.
Yeah.
They're not going to learn until they experience, the hardships.
Yeah.
That's what I'm told anyway.
Caitlin, I hope you graduate someday.
Me too. Here's to you, Caitlin. I don't even want to know how long you plan to be in college.
She's never going to get to retire.
Next story.
This one's by Ken Barber. He doesn't have anything that says, what he does for a living, but he did live in Portland, Oregon from 84 to 91.
Maybe that's,
so there you go. Fun
maybe
fact.
That's central to the story. Maybe it's central to the story.
Maybe. It's not, though. I'll tell you that, because this was the one story I read ahead of time.
Okay.
So
okay.
The question, if you guys remember at the top, was, do you have a funny Easter story? Ken starts his off by saying, yes, I do. I came home one Friday to find that my computer and a few other items had been stolen from my house. Hilarious. It was a Radio Shack color computer. The thief didn't steal the manuals. Knowing that my computer was useless without the owner's manuals, parentheses, I couldn't even use it myself without referring to them, end parentheses, I called every Radio Shack store in Portland, I guess it was slightly important, asking them to be on the lookout for someone coming in to order a set of manuals. Then I went out of town for the weekend, took the kids to my parents' house for Easter, got home on Sunday, and which is Easter, so you're not spending it with your family. And there was a call from a Radio Shack store that the perp had come into the store, got arrested, and the cops had my computer. The computer had been stolen on Good Friday, and I got it back on Easter.
Wow.
Thanks, Ken.
What is a Radio Shack color computer?
Apparently it's a computer you cannot use without manuals. Like what? I mean, this was somewhere between 84 and 91, so this was
right.
This is a primitive computer. It was probably made of sticks and leaves
and mud, held together with mud.
Yeah, and you had to use a potato to give it energy. Use a potato battery.
Read a floppy disk.
Yeah.
And the mouse is probably the mouse is probably a real life mouse.
An actual mouse, yeah. Just running in a wheel.
Yeah. That's not how you powered it, though. You still use potatoes to power it.
Yeah, that was what you saw on the screen.
And the keyboard was like a wall board where you hang like various keys, like if you're a valet driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what the keyboard was.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great story, Matt.
Thanks. I didn't write it.
I liked it a lot, but I'm also still wondering what a Radio Shack color computer is. It just seems like a weird name for a product.
I'm just for shits, Sean. I'm going to look it up and see if I can find an image.
Are you serious? Like while I read the next story?
I mean, I'm doing it right now.
Should I wait?
This thing is fucking amazing.
Am I going to have to pull this picture too?
It's the TRS-80 color computer. It's like a typewriter with a screen with a television on top of it.
Oh boy.
So I assume it's something along those lines. It was first introduced in July of 1980.
What is this, written in Labianese?
I've been introduced. Sorry,
yeah, we get it. I'll throw up a picture of it, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
All right.
Boop bop.
Wait, this seems to be a story about actual Easter. Yeah, whatever this story is by Carlos Marcelo, whatever. It's like the real story of Easter. So like this is not someone's personal funny Easter story.
God damn, and it is
long.
Holy Christ. Yeah, we're not reading that.
So I'm going to skip that one.
Yeah, if you want to know the real story of
Easter,
the quote unquote real story of what happened on Easter, go to church
on Easter. So you have to wait another year to do it. You could look it up online, but if you want the full Easter experience,
that's what I say. If you go right now, you can still do. I'm like, nobody can.
Yeah, no. You forget how this works.
If I could turn back time. All right.
I would be Cher again.
She's still Cher.
Anyway. No, but I would be Cher again.
You've been Cher
Jorge
before?
Ramirez writes in, he's a package handler at United Parcel Service, in parentheses, company, from 2017 to present. So almost as long as what's her face has been in high school.
I'm sorry. Who fucking types out United Parcel Service?
I don't know. Jorge Ramirez does.
When was the last time anybody referred to it as United Parcel Service?
Don't people say like what's the United something pot smokers? Wasn't it? What's the UPS? Some people say something pot smokers. Anyway.
Yeah.
Shockingly enough, it is pot smokers that say that. So here's what Jorge says.
Okay.
I would usually spend holidays with my family that live here with me in the valley. But one year, my family that from Anaheim invited us, and they had a different way of hunting eggs for Easter. We started in the house and waited for the It's like shooting eggs in a barrel, eggs in a basket. We started in the house and waited for the call to go outside. When it was time, we all rushed out and started searching. I kept searching and searching, but I couldn't find any eggs. That was when I lived.
He was searching and searching.
He was searching and searching.
That's why
checking out areas.
Yeah, that's where he failed. Everybody else was just searching. He was searching and searching.
He was trying to do too much, you know? It's like he was trying to overcomplicate things. If he would have just relaxed a little bit. God, relax, Jorge. That was when I lifted a box and I found a belt and I showed my cousin who was near me at the time.
Oh,
he snatched it from my hands and started hitting me with it. And everyone started running back inside the house. I went crying to my mom and noticed that everyone was laughing and apologizing.
What?
I was a youngling at the time. So I didn't quite get the memo that I needed to find a belt to hit my cousins. It wasn't funny to me when back then, but this question reminded me of that time, and it's very funny to me now that we actually played that game. It was the first and only time I played that with them, LOL. So this youngling, Jorge, he thought he was going outside to hunt for eggs and search for eggs. But he wasn't able to find any, and that's because the true purpose of the game was to find the hidden belt and then start hitting everyone with the belt you found. So he found a belt and went, "Hey, cousin that's near me, check out this belt I found." And the cousin took the belt and then started hitting him with it because he knew the purpose of the game.
Look how I didn't quite get the memo that I needed to find a belt and hit my cousins. Nobody got the memo. Nobody has ever done this.
This family does it.
Clearly new. But what is the point of it?
I don't know.
I need more here, Jorge, package handler at United Parcel Service. I need more information. I honestly don't think there was ever eggs. I think the parents
weren't eggs.
Kids outside to go beat the shit out of each other for a while because they didn't want to deal with them.
Yeah, so the point of this is there were no eggs to find. He just assumed they were going out to find eggs because that's what you do at Easter. But this family plays a different game, and he was unaware of the rules. Would it have been nice and considerate to explain to him what the rules of the game are? Yes. But that's also not what this family does.
But the story also starts off with him saying that they had a different way of hunting eggs for Easter.
I think
there was no eggs.
I think he was burying the lead.
He buried a lot more than the lead.
He buried my love for Easter.
I don't know. This is...
Oh, Jorge. Imagine how different your life could have been had you kept the belt and hit your cousins with it. Maybe you would be the manager at the United Parcel Service and not a lonely package handler.
But I also don't get the game, too, because as soon as the cousin snatched the belt and started hitting him with it, everybody ran back inside. So if the whole point was to be the one who found the belt and then you have to hit all the cousins, if the game is just somebody found it, now we all have to run back inside before we get hit, what the fuck game is this?
You run inside before you get hit with the belt. That's the whole point is you try to find the belt. If you're lucky enough to find the belt, then your job is to hit other people with it before they get in the house. But if someone else finds it, your main goal now is to get in the house before, because the house is the safe area.
But what's the end game? What is the point of winning the game?
I don't know, Matt.
Just to be, because you're not. It's not to be the only one not to get hit, because clearly other ones don't get hit. To be the hitter doesn't mean shit in that game at the end. Whatever this game is, it's not. I don't think this is a real game.
Well, it is. I think it is in this family.
I think this family has got some problems.
And I don't know why you want me to figure out and explain to you all the intricate details and the motive behind the game, because I'm hearing of this for the first time, just like you are.
You read the story, so you have to answer the questions.
Look, I was able to figure out a lot with this brief story of this game.
All right.
I think it's just kind of like a weird version of hide and seek, only the hidden thing is the belt. And the seekers try to hit you with what they find. That's what I think.
In that case, I think it would just be fun to put raw eggs out in the yard, and then when you find them, you have to throw them at each other. That would be more entertaining.
No. But that's messy, and the parents don't want the kids coming in the house with a bunch of egg yolk and egg stuff dripping all over the place.
Just bruises and lesions.
As long as they're not externally bleeding, they can still sit on the couch.
As long as the bleeding's just internal, we're good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's read this next story from Pamela Muir, former brain surgeon.
Wow.
Yeah. We had just started coloring the eggs when Aunt Paula and Uncle Walt, stopped by. You could tell he was pretty drunk again. She's telling this story like we know who these people are and we know he has a drinking problem. You can tell he was pretty drunk again by the way he fondled and managed to crack a few of the eggs. He asked to draw on them right after he dropped an egg on the floor. Paula told him to leave the eggs alone. Sorry, that was a bad pause for me. He told her to F, in quotes, off. And then all the eggs ended up being crushed on Auntie Paula's head. Shells hung off her nose, and she looked quite flabbergasted. I cried because my special egg was pulverized. Why did you have...
Wow, you could tell this is a former brain surgeon. Are you hearing these adjectives?
Yep.
Flabbergasted, pulverized?
Why do I have to have such weird relatives when other families might be normal, whatever that is?
If you can't define what normal is.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, Pamela. It's fairly normal. If all you have to deal with is one shitty drunk uncle who cracks eggs over his wife's head, you're all right.
I wonder why she felt it necessary to explain that she's a former brain surgeon. What does she do now?
That's just why not? I'm assuming whatever Quora stuff you set up, when you set up some Quora profile, you put in like what you used to do, or what I guess what you do. Maybe what she does for a living now is not cool at all, or she's retired.
Or I was going to say, she's probably retired. Because otherwise you would just name your current profession. All right, we're going to go on to...
No, she's the owner-operator of Silly String Swings for Adults.
Where is that? Where does it say that?
Highlight over her name, or over her picture.
Wow.
She lived in outer space at one point. She knows English.
I want to meet Pamela Muir, a humorist.
She's a humorist
as well.
Yeah.
Wow. Active in 7 spaces, whatever that means. I'm not sure. That must be a Quora type of a thing.
I am so happy that I want to know what Silly String Swings for Adults is. Is that like a sex swing?
So these are funny, very different things. PhDs in rocket science and PhD in public administration. Those are 2 very different PhDs.
Yeah.
But now the lived in outer space, I can't believe anything she says.
Right.
She doesn't even have an Aunt Paula and Uncle Walt.
I'm going to tell you what, though. I just Googled Silly String Swings for Adults. Nothing
Is
comes
it real?
Up. Nothing comes up.
So she's a fucking liar.
She's a humorist, dude. I think she pulled one over on me.
She pulled one over. She pulled a few over on both of us.
Yeah, but not the way Walt pulled a few eggs over Aunt Pamela's
Paula. On Pamela's Paula. Okay.
All right, next story.
These next 2 say related. So.
These are related questions. So this one's, what's your favorite Easter memory?
All right, I'll read it.
Mm-hmm.
Karen P. Anderson Kantz, M.A. in Counseling Psychology, writes, my favorite Easter memory was to get a new dress, saddle shoes with new socks, white gloves, and, of course, a hat to wear. We would get all dressed up to go to church, then out to dinner as a family. It was so cool to be dressed that way.
It was 1845.
I know, like, where are my culottes?
Wearing gloves.
Then we would go get our picture taken out in front of the house. Those were the days. We had to stand for 12 minutes. I don't know. I have thoroughly enjoyed those times when I was... Yeah. I have thoroughly enjoyed those times when I was growing up. I loved eating the chocolate candies from the Easter basket that my mom prepared for each of us. I remember waking up, finding the Easter basket, and eating the candy before breakfast. It was an innocent time in my life. I cherished those memories.
Past tense.
Wow, this person does sound like they were quite elderly when they wrote this, and this was a bygone era.
And this person graduated from Western Michigan University in 1993. So unless they are a very late bloomer, I loved that. It was so cool to be dressed that way.
I know
it wasn't.
I'm surprised she didn't write about licking a lolly.
Yeah. Then the milkman would come by and drop off our daily milk. Pick up our old bottles.
My mother was quite fond of the milkman and would talk to him extensively at his visits. Sometimes she would even invite him into the house when Dad was at work.
Yeah.
Those were some
conversation.
Those were some cherished times.
Yeah.
My mom would tell me to go outside and play while Mommy talked to the milkman about future deliveries and the like up in her room.
For some reason, they would push the two beds together while they talked and then separate them again before he left.
Right. But she told me to play outside so that I couldn't hear all the commotion because it was very serious grown-up talk that they were discussing, and it was not for children's ears. Yeah. Oh, those were such cherished times. I loved my pretty dress and shoes and hat.
The beds must have been very heavy because they would be grunting for quite a while.
Oh, they would be quite sweaty and out of breath when the conversation was over.
And somehow, Mom always had milk on her face. Next story, Lisa Olson writes, this is the question, what is the strangest thing you've ever seen on Easter? We always celebrated Easter at my grandparents' home. They had 5 children and 9 grandchildren. After grandmother died, grandfather made sure we carried on her holiday tradition of a big meal and Easter egg hunt in the yard. I participated in Easter egg hunts for grandkids until I was 30 and my cousin was 40 because we didn't have our own children yet.
That doesn't mean you have to be out there.
Exactly.
You can stay inside with the adults.
It up for the great grandkids who were actually enjoying it. I remember
maybe
noticing
your help.
Huh?
Hopefully they're just out there like helping the young kids find the eggs.
No, they're like
stuff,
pushing them over and stealing them and shit.
You're like, I've got all. They found 12 of their own.
Like a kid holds up an egg. I found one. They smack it out of their hand. And
then they hit him with a belt.
I remember noticing a neighbor watching us with an odd expression on his face. Grown-ups dressed up for the holidays, celebration, searching for plastic eggs with money inside. Oh, what a sight we were.
Wait, what about the man, though?
So the strangest thing she ever saw on Easter was somebody else looking at her because she was an adult looking for eggs. That's the strangest thing she saw, was the odd looks of another man.
I just don't get why she brought up noticing the neighbor watching them with an odd expression and then just that's it.
That's what it was. It was the neighbor. She said, I remember noticing a neighbor watching us with an odd expression on his face. Grown-ups dressed up for a holiday celebration, searching for plastic eggs with money inside. What a sight we were.
It's right there.
So that's what I'm saying. The strangest thing she ever saw on Easter was a person seeing the strangest thing he's ever seen on Easter.
Right. I got you. Now I understand.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
You deserved those strange looks from that man, because if there's other kids, obviously your other siblings or the other 9 of the other 7 of the 9 grandchildren that had kids aren't in their 30s and 40s looking for eggs. Their children are looking for the eggs, and then this stupid 30 and 40-year-old are ruining the kids' fun just because they didn't have children. So they're like, why should we be punished because we didn't have kids? We should still be able to search for eggs and get money.
Well, again, I'm hoping that they're just sort of helping the kids find the eggs.
Go fuck yourself, Lisa Olson.
Okay. That's hard. That's very extreme. I went all the way down to someone named Amaret Kitsa.
Oh, you went much further down then, huh?
Yeah, who cares? Have many pets, some smarter than others. That's what her deal is. Or his, I guess. It's a her.
Yep.
What is your worst Easter memory? This is the question she's answering.
Oof. Oh, God.
Easter, 1990. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were huge. The live-action movie with the foam suit turtles had either just come out or was about to come out. I had just...
Okay.
I had just turned 13. My mom was part of a charitable society that hosted a big breakfast with the Easter Bunny every year. They needed a face painter, and I was recruited. Okay. A steady stream of kids came to my table wanting bunnies, hearts, and rainbows. Lots of them wanted Ninja Turtles, which were refreshingly easy to do. Blob of green, dash of purple or orange, white dot eyes, simple. And the kids walked away happy. I thought things were going quite well, right up until a red-faced man stormed over to my table, got right up in my face, and started yelling about God and Satan.
Okay. Fitting.
I didn't know what he... He's red-faced. Do you think he was Satan?
Ooh. No.
No, not at all.
No.
I didn't know... Yeah. I didn't know what he was talking about. I thought he might be crazy.
But I was
It
wrong.
was my first time... Thank you. It was my first time face painting, so everything was already pretty intimidating. And now I had this guy going ballistic on me. He jabbed a finger at me and then at the unfortunate youth he had scuffed, whose cheeks burned under a smudgy Donatello. Okay. An assertive adult intervened on my side. We eventually figured out that this dad saw the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as the work of the devil.
Oh,
naturally.
Of course.
I'd claimed his son for Satan with my face paint, and on the holiest day of the year.
Not the holiest day of the year.
I cried as he forced me to scrub off the offending turtle and made me put a big cross on the boy's Wait, you're crying because you have to change the face paint you did on some kid's face?
And also, why did you have to scrub it off?
Yeah. Well, the angry man probably made her do it. I mean, she was only 13, so I could see her getting maybe scared and crying because of that. On the boy's cheek in his place. The boy was crying too, appropriately enough. The one thought I remember going through my head was, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
Huh, appropriate.
That was my bad Easter memory. I always wondered if the kid got a prominent Ninja Turtle tattoo on his 18th birthday to celebrate his freedom.
Probably not.
Right? That'll show Dad. Let's see what this says.
Edit.
Yeah. In writing this, I mean no disrespect toward religion. Rather, I took issue with his communication style, toward me and toward his son. I still don't understand the demonic link to the Ninja Turtles, but he was utterly convinced that there was one.
There was no need for that edit. Nobody, in no way, reading that did I think this person had a disrespect towards religion.
I mean, you don't know. They could have gotten a slew of comments. You know this.
I mean, it's got
the
29
internet,
upvotes.
Matt. It's the internet.
I guess it is.
Well, what do we think? We got any more in us, or are we gonna call it a day?
That's a good place to call it.
Very nice. Well, We hope all of you out there have had similarly hilarious Easter stories.
Yeah.
Maybe you can write to us and share your favorite or worst Easter story that you can recall. highschoolfamous@gmail.com, or you can reach us on any of our socials at hsfamouspod, and you can leave us a note there.
Well,
we will see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
If you have a question, complaint, or threat for Sean or Matt, you can reach us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, X, or Instagram at hsfamouspod, or you can email the show at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. No animals were pleasured during the making of this podcast, despite our best efforts. All hail our Lord and Savior.
Go fuck yourself, Lisa Olson.